Welcome into today's broadcast right here at Cog Hill Farm. Now, Peaches wouldn't let Nugget into the house for this episode, so here's Jason, Brooke, and our chicken master, Marycarl.
What is up, everybody? This is Jason and Brooke over here at Cog Hill Farm. This is another episode of the Cogcast podcast, episode number 5. We are trucking along. If you missed the last episode, we had our other co-host, Marycarl, here. She's not here tonight, but she'll probably be in the next one.
I have a feeling. Yeah. I have a feeling she'll be here next week. She's been talking about some things that she would like to discuss, and who knows where that could take us.
Who knows where that can take us? She knows a lot about birds.
She does. She's now the big 11. Thank you to everyone who wished her a happy birthday by email,
yes.
Facebook, YouTube, whatever.
We got a ton. Cards.
She saw them all. She appreciated every shout out and everything that she received.
That is so awesome. Thank you guys so much for all the Christmas stuff we've gotten this year.
Oh yes.
The Christmas cards, the gifts, the messages, the emails. It has been crazy. It just blows my mind.
Actually, I was in town yesterday picking up some feed, and the post office is downtown. So I went to our P.O. box, and lo and behold, there were Christmas cards in there. And I think the post office just was running a little bit behind.
I think so too. There
were a couple of packages that we didn't receive before Christmas, but we received them yesterday, and we're thankful for those.
So thankful for them.
I have a card display that I've had stored in the closet for years, and I kind of feel like people have faded out on Christmas cards.
It seems like it.
We don't get as many from friends and family as we once did, and so I stored this card holder away, and we started receiving cards from fans, and Marycarl was like, "I want Daddy, can you get that? It looks like a star. It looks like a Christmas tree.
It's like a Christmas tree."
And we'll have to post a picture of that on Facebook or some kind of social media to show y'all just how many Christmas cards we got, because
crazy.
It literally won't stand up. It has little slots where some will go this way, some will go this way, and it literally is slap full. So
slap full.
Thank y'all for the love. We love y'all back.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And all the messages and comments. I know we can't answer them all because it's just hoodles of them.
Yeah,
but
we
thank y'all.
I've gotten to where I am now answering some emails, so
yep.
I'm trying to help out as much as I can without the technology part of it being involved. And I have that little app that's been added to my phone, so it's made it easier for me to reply to some. But if we were to miss you, please don't think that we're looking over you, because
that's
it's not that way. And it's not that we're too busy for people. Don't feel that way either. It's just sometimes things go overlooked. It
gets overlooked because it's so many, or a lot of stuff goes to spam.
Yeah, that's true.
And we get a lot of spam stuff. So we try our best.
We're not telling you to cut out on it. We just want you to understand if we don't see something or don't reply, then it may have gotten overlooked or went somewhere it shouldn't have. So
we do thank y'all a lot. It's just it really does blow my mind.
Yes, it does. And we enjoyed our Christmas. We hope you guys did as well. And we just hung out around the house. Jason cooked out. We had some.
That's right. Some filet mignons.
It was a good meal.
That's what Marycarl requested for Christmas.
It was.
No turkey, no ham.
No, but I made a cheesecake, a homemade cheesecake. And
sure did, and it was delicious.
We actually made it a couple of days prior to Christmas because I didn't know if it was going to turn out or not. And maybe the day after Christmas, it was gone.
It was delicious.
So my next try is one that's going to be made in the Instapot. I have never done that. So we're going to try to make a cheesecake in the Instapot. It'll be after New Year's, but
that was like a trial run, but it wasn't in the Instapot. You were just getting it.
It was in the oven. And I think the key to making a good cheesecake is water being in the bottom of that pan. The first one I ever did with the water bath.
Yeah.
It says to take full and wrap it around your springform pan, which I did, and I had it wrapped really tight. But water still seeped in the bottom of that graham cracker crust, and it got a little soggy, and I was so disappointed because cheesecakes are a lot of work.
They are a lot of work,
Well, guess what I learned this time?
What?
This was not supposed to be discussed tonight, but It's not talked about prior to what we're going to talk about.
These are not scripted out.
They're
We
not.
just hooked the mic up and we kind of got an idea of what we're going to talk about.
I've obviously got cheesecake on my mind tonight. So, in order to make your water not seep in to the springform pan, you probably don't even know I did this.
No.
Okay, somebody suggested on one of these cooking things to take a crock pot liner. These are liners that are made to go inside your crock pot, so your mess is not so much to clean up. All right, take that crock pot liner, put it around the bottom of your springform pan, and tie it.
That's genius.
Isn't it, though?
Yes.
Because they're able to be cooked in the oven because, it's high temperature.
That's right.
And then wrap your foil around it and then put it in the water.
Somebody was thinking.
It didn't leak.
Somebody was thinking.
They were, but it wasn't my idea, but I'll sure let you know it worked.
That is awesome. Somebody was thinking.
They were. So anyway, if y'all have, everybody probably already knows that already, but I didn't. So that first one I ever did in a water bath was a little secret, soggy on the bottom. So
a little secret.
Those crock pot liners, they work out for a cheesecake liner as well.
We talked last week, especially Marycarl talked last week about what her favorite chicken breed was on the farm, and it got me thinking about what is something that we've raised that we didn't enjoy, really.
That's no fun when you raise something you really don't feel it. You're just not attached to it, and well, not necessarily attached, but for pets, yes, you would be attached to it. But we have done a variety of animals here on the farm for meat purposes.
I think we've raised just about everything on the farm.
We have. Okay. So like pigs were our first. Well, no, chickens were our first.
Well, let's we're called Cog Hill Farm because right when we started YouTube, well, it was before YouTube, we were a working, profitable farm.
And we have some people say from time to time, and it's kind of aggravating on one end, but then on another end, it's kind of funny because if you say this, you really don't know what you're talking about.
Well, they I guess they see us now, and they see that we're not raising anything for profit per se, but we used to.
And the remark that we hear from time to time, it's not very often, but you're not a farm.
You're not a farm.
You're a petting zoo.
Petting zoo, or I don't know. We get all kind of comments like that from time to time.
And you just have to kind of take the good with the bad. And that's one of those things where you just want to say, buddy, you don't know. Because we have been there and done that.
We were a profitable farm. We raised meat chickens for a high-end restaurant and a high-end catering business for 5 years. We did about 100 every 6 weeks. And
that was throughout the year. We didn't stop
throughout the year, year-round.
It's not, Alabama winter is not Alaska winter.
That's right.
But we still get some unfavorable weather that is not desirable for chickens, and you're trying to grow them out for meat.
That's right. We still had our challenges in the wintertime.
I mean, I can remember nights going out there and it being, really, really cold, like down in the 20s, and us having, because we went through several designs of what worked for us.
That's in a podcast in itself.
It is, but I can remember going out and just freezing and having an area that wasn't big enough for us to stand up in.
Right.
Having to crawl in there and refill feeders. And, because it was trial and error.
Yep. So we did that for 5 years. We've also raised meat rabbits. We also did, this is all for the restaurant. You're talking about pigs. Mm-hmm. We did American guinea hogs.
We did.
And we did, we just had started quail. And what happened is the corona hit and the restaurant and the catering went out of business.
And we were comfortable, and you think, why don't you, just broad your circle out?
That was our two big clients. That's all we could handle.
And
it was perfect because they were, we didn't have to worry about this person's getting this many, John Smith's going to get 5 chickens, Bill and his family are going to get 12. We didn't have to worry about that. They got every single, it was just so easy.
And we had a good working relationship.
A good
You know,
working
it was just
relationship.
Bam,
It was
bam.
just-
we
it
knew
was-
what to do. They read our mind. We read their mind, and it was no communication.
We never had to
issue.
take any orders. It was 100 chickens every 6 weeks, and that was it, just like clockwork. Just boom, 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 boom.
So we did rabbits for them. We did chickens for them. We did pigs for them. The issue with pigs was a processor. In order to sell to restaurants, you have to be USDA
Yes.
in the state of Alabama, and we don't have one nearby. So
It
that was our biggest issue with pigs,
The-
without going into a lot of
The
detail.
closest one was like what?
Oh,
It
Marycarl
was like
and I
an 8-hour
drove.
round trip.
Well, actually, it was 3 hours there and then 3 hours back, and
Okay.
that's not spending time. We had to stop and go to the bathroom or
Yeah.
eat or.
It was a headache.
And she was, let's see, probably seven,
8. Okay.
something like that. And the patience of a 7-year-old,
Yeah.
8-year-old is not very good. And
But I will say that she travels very well.
well, she does. But beside the fact,
I
it
know.
wasn't something that you look forward to
No,
doing.
that's right.
And the restaurant couldn't use a whole lot of pigs at one time, so we could only take a couple, 2 or 3, and then therefore that's wasting our time. And
Yeah.
anyway,
It was the pig thing didn't work out.
it wasn't the restaurant's fault. We stopped pigs before the virus hit, so it really had nothing to do with the restaurant going out of business. It
Right.
was just the simple fact that we don't have a processor nearby.
And then to get back was the chickens was our main thing.
Oh, yeah, we were-
profitable with chickens. We did well with chickens.
And let me tell you, I was a chicken cleaning master.
You were. We got, I'm telling y'all, we got so efficient because I started figuring out things like, we're doing 100 chickens. So if I could save 1 minute per chicken, that's 100 minutes.
We went
That's
through
a long time.
all kind of trials and tribulations
Yes.
as to what we could do better here and what we could do better. By the time we quit doing chickens, Jason and I could process 100 chickens in 4 hours.
That's bagged on ice, weighed, recorded, priced. That's 4 hours. We did it all in 4 hours.
Now, we would have to set up the night before. We would get all the equipment out of storage
Yep.
and, because it would be 6 weeks before we did another set. So all of our equipment had to go in storage.
Yep.
But y'all, that was some work.
We could do it. So
Not complaining about work.
no, not
because
complaining at all. That was our thing for so long, and we got really, really good at it. We had the high end equipment, and then when the restaurant went out of business, and then the caterer went out of business, we were like, what are we gonna do? And so we
Well,
we
one
did
thing
send
was-
feelers out.
That took our whole weekend
Oh, yeah.
on that,
Yeah,
6-week interval.
That took the whole weekend.
So filming for YouTube was kind of out of the question.
We had to kind of stay ahead.
Yeah, we had to stay ahead at this time of the year. Now, in
Right.
summertime, we could, do some
That's right.
filming
That's
after
right.
work or whatever. But so that wiped that weekend out, basically.
And that was kind of back when my YouTube channel, my scheduling was kind of erratic. I didn't have certain days that I posted videos on.
Well, you didn't know what was going to happen.
You didn't know what was going to happen. So they went out of business. We sent feelers out to other restaurants in the area, and no one, said, "Hey, look, we'll buy from y'all." And so we're like, "Oh, what are we going to do? Do we start reaching back out to families again? Maybe do a CSA?" It was that's a lot of work. When
Well, it was
we
a lot
had
of planning that we didn't have time to do.
Right, and then we're charging $4.25 a pound.
That's right.
So are these families going to be able to pay us this? But it's going to be more work. So that's that's less money we're going to make because we're spending more time on, not having one person just boom, 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 boom.
And we felt like we needed to pre-sell these chickens.
Pre-sell
because
'em.
if I order 100 chickens and I'm only selling 40 of them, what am I going to do with that 60 that's left over?
We can
So,
only eat so many chickens.
That's right.
So then we were approached by, our dear friend, Chef Scott Peacock, who is, if y'all don't know him, Google him. He's a phenomenal chef, James Beard Award winner. I mean, he is unreal. And he's doing these classes that he sets up that people are traveling all over the country to come to Marion, Alabama to do. And it's real popular right now. It's called the Biscuit Experience, where he's teaching people and you're spending the day with Scott, who's very, very fun to be around. So that's why it's called an experience. And I'll put a link to his website down below in case you guys ever want to check that out. So he started pre-planning to do a chicken and dumpling class and asked, will we raise the chickens for him? And we talked about it.
We did. We just we kind of felt like our time may be up.
That's what we felt like.
We felt like we had just, I mean, our opportunity with the restaurant business was no longer in our lap.
Right.
And we just kind of, without saying much more, felt kind of burnt out on it.
And our YouTube channel started growing pretty good.
Well, it needed attention, that's for sure. It needed us to be there and not, say, hey, we might have a video out this week and we might not, but stay tuned.
And that's kind of the transition early in the year where you and Marycarl got more involved in the channel, and it wasn't just me all the time.
Well, and besides that, we had decided that she was going to be homeschooled.
That's right.
And so I would be at home more rather than being in the road, taking her from point A to point B, and realized that we could help, with the animals and the feeding, and Jason could get more done, have more time to do these things that Brooke is not good at, which is technology. And
well, so then that we were like, look, we could probably make more money if we put all our energy into YouTube versus some in the YouTube, some in the podcast, some in these chickens.
Yeah, because there were, not to tell a story at all, there were days when you just didn't want to do it. Yeah. And they had to have your attention. Multiple times a day.
It was work. It was a lot of work. And, if you guys have raised them, then you know exactly what we're talking about. And if you're selling them, you know exactly what I'm fixing to say. That person that says $4.25 a pound.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not paying that. I can get it from Walmart for 99 cents a pound. And you're like, you have no clue.
You have no clue.
If you raise those chickens right there with us, and the feed cost and the water cost, all the equipment, the time and the effort and the energy
you'd be one of these customers and you'd say, I'll pay you $7.25 a pound.
Yes,
because
you would.
It is work. And it's really not work at all that we were trying to get out of work. That's not an issue at all. We did our work.
We did our work. Plus we still had the same thing we got now. We still had all the chickens that are pets. We didn't have an emu at the time. All the ducks, everything you see is the exact same, except we had 100 meat chickens.
100 meat
here
chickens.
All the time.
And it was a lot of calculations going on as to when to order the next ones, when they'd be here, what would we have going on at the time, what date would we process. Y'all know, it has to be planned ahead. So just realize that we were, at one time, a profitable farm. So when I was thinking about what to talk about tonight was what is something that we did not or have not liked raising, and this is what brought me. This is my experience. Now she may be different. She may be totally different. But the one thing that I have not liked here on the farm was when we decided to try and do meat ducks. Well, the restaurant that we were supplying chickens to said, hey, I've been ordering my ducks from a supplier up in the Northeast, and if you guys can get close to the price that he's selling them to me for, I'd just as soon buy them from y'all. Well, the smile on my face got real big that day because I knew if we could do chickens, we could do ducks.
We could do ducks. And then you befriended a meat duck farm in Colorado.
I did. Actually, we ended up buying some equipment from him.
That's right. Bought some equipment from them, and they were just gung-ho about how great meat ducks were.
Well, they said, if you can do chickens, you can do ducks.
Yes, exactly what they said. And they said, the thing about ducks is they're harder to pluck, but you have to catch them when they're molting.
Yes, and if you'll go in and you'll catch one on about day such and such or such and such, and you look at them and you see that those little feathers...
Yeah.
I can't even remember what
I can't remember what it was either, but I think if you pulled them out and they came out easily, they were molten.
Well,
it's hard to tell, in my opinion, when a duck's molting. It's not like a chicken where the chicken starts getting bald spots. A duck don't get bald spots. It's just new feathers coming right back in, and you really can't tell.
So he's telling me all these things, and I'm steadily jotting it down. I'm like, I got this. There's
easy.
Just wait till I tell Jason this, and I'm searching for suppliers, because we needed something that got big quick, kind of like a Cornish cross. And so I found a meat duck breed called a jumbo Peking.
Yep.
And they did cost a little bit more than a regular Peking. But we thought we'll start here because it says that they get to such and such size, which is about what he wanted. And we'll go ahead and order some dead of winter.
That's right.
And we'll start off with, how many did we do?
Was it?
I'll tell you what I'm thinking. You tell me what you're thinking.
I'm thinking like 25.
Yeah, I think that was 25 and they sent us 30 maybe.
Maybe they sent us 30.
But there's one kind of duck I raise, and that's called a free-range duck.
Yeah.
When a duck is in captivity, which is what we had to do because we have predators, and we couldn't afford to lose these ducks because we had promised
they wasn't
them.
locked up. They were set up.
They were in a netted fence.
A netted fenced-in area with a hoop house.
And they had a shelter. And,
yep.
We did move it every day. But I don't care if you move it 10 times a day.
It was bad. It was bad, y'all. If y'all follow us along or have been following us throughout our whole journey, you know that ducks are not my favorite animal because they're nasty.
Well, I have a bad thought about those white ducks now. Whenever I see one, that's what I think of.
We had 25 and they are eating machines.
Yes, they're eating machines. And I mean, it was almost like we were not being nice to them because we were giving them all the feed in the world they wanted. And as soon as we fed them, they were like, Mama, I need more food. As soon as you filled it back up, they wanted it again.
It was it's like a starter crumble, crumble.
It was a
just
non-GMO.
A mess. It was a total mess, y'all. Mess.
I can smell it right now. That wet food, because they had a automatic waterer.
Yeah.
And so there were 5-gallon buckets of water that went down in these waterers, and they could play and drink and slop and do whatever they wanted to 24/7. And y'all, that's what they did
all the time.
We even had a swimming pool in there for them.
Yep. And they were so scared. That was the other thing. I remember how frightened they
were not friendly ducks, which I didn't want to get attached to.
No, you don't want to get attached to them.
But I also didn't want them to just go nuts when
and that's
we went
what they
in
did.
there.
They would go nuts. They would get tangled in the net.
And it's, I don't know the reason. It maybe because it was so many of them, and they just realized that they were wild, and we were their intruders.
It was rough, but that's not the roughest part.
Oh no!
So here we are trying to figure out when these things are molting. I think they're molting. So it was. I get off work because I do work a full-time job.
Marycarl was still in school at this time.
So we decided, it was still in school.
Yes, they were still in school. This was before the virus hit, remember? This is before the virus hit.
This was a couple of years ago.
Yes, and so it's a school night, and it's cold.
And so we decided to go ahead with it, and thinking it's going to probably take us a couple of hours.
Yeah, so Jason gets off work, and I don't know if the night before we set up the equipment or whatever, but anyway, we thought we were prepared. We said, this is gonna, we'll get these done, and
yep. The first duck, I remember not being too bad, thinking, this is not that bad.
Well, I don't know what you were thinking, because I can remember looking at their feathers after we scalded them,
and next
thinking
one,
to myself, this ain't pretty.
The after that first one,
I don't think a chicken is pretty when it's scalded, but this wasn't pretty.
No, the feathers are totally different, which we knew that, but we thought. I knew it was going to be bad. I knew it was going to be different. I knew it was going to be bad. I just thought it was going to be a little bit harder than the chicken. I figured we got this Featherman high-end equipment. This is going to be easy. We'll put them in the scalder, then we'll put them in the plucker, and we may have to pull some feathers out with our hands.
Well,
and it's nothing like that at all.
What I was told was if you hit it during this molt, and they're all the same age, so they're all going to molt at the same time. Yep. If you hit it during this molt, their feathers are going to come out, and it's going to be smooth.
Yep.
So, Jason tested it. It was time, so we had to do it during the middle of the week on a cold night, school night. And y'all.
It was a nightmare.
They were ugly.
It was. They could not get the pin feathers out.
They were ugly. And Jason got to the point where he was like, I think this one's going to be okay. I think this one's going to be okay. And I was like, are you kidding me? There's these little black things sticking up from under there.
You couldn't get them out.
It just looked like a porcupine
horrible.
sticking up.
And they wasn't that big.
No, they weren't big at all. We thought that they were of the proper weight.
We thought they were big, but they were not big. But we did the same thing with meat chickens.
Yeah, well, when we started.
When we first started, we thought our big meat chickens were huge, and they were like 2 pounds.
But the further we got into it, the colder it got, and the more frustrated we were, and the later it got, and my little girl had to go to school the next day. It was
awful. We ended up, long story short, we ended up just giving them to them.
Well, what happened was we took them and we said,
this is our first time.
This is our first time. Please forgive us. We didn't know if you could skin them, possibly, because we did leave the skin on. But if you know anything about consuming duck, the skin is what gives the flavor. And so no chef wants to take the skin off. And he was like, I'm sure. He was a nice guy. I'm sure we can do something with them. And so he took them. And like a week later, we were conversing over some chickens or something. And I said, what did you end up doing with those ducks? Guess what his answer was? I made stock out of them. They were too ugly. He couldn't present them to the customers. No. They were that bad. And I totally understood. So we didn't charge him for them. We ate that amount, but
that was a lot of money too, because it was...
Ducks are not cheap.
They were not cheap. They're nothing like buying Cornish crosses.
No, and I didn't realize... I did realize that when I ordered them, but I didn't realize that, going in, talking to him, what the initial cost was going to be.
Yes.
I wasn't prepared to put that. A predator could have came in, and wiped us out in one night.
Yes.
But this was different. You had feed on top of the cost of the animal.
Yeah, I can't remember how long we raised them, 7, 8 weeks.
And not only did we have feed, we had a lot of time invested.
We were
raising chickens at the same time.
Oh my gracious. It made me appreciate raising meat chickens.
Well, I tell you what, that was something that, it wasn't my least favorite thing to process, but I don't want to do them again.
Yeah, I don't want to do them. Do you have a thing that you didn't like? Mine was the meat ducks. You got something that you didn't like besides the meat ducks, or was the meat ducks it?
No, I didn't like rabbits.
You didn't like rabbits?
And they're cute little fuzzy critters, and we shouldn't feel that way. Honestly, we shouldn't care what something looks like, but seeing them being born here on the farm was challenging, because I knew what day that baby came out. I knew who its mama was. I knew I knew everything about it. And when you order chickens or ducks, you don't remember one from another. They come in.
They all look the same.
Mm-hmm. It's just a million different ones. And then you might have that one. We raised silver fox and also New Zealand's.
Right.
So we might have that one little silver fox that's got a gray coat, but it might have a little speck of brown right there on its ear. And when you go to process that, you're like, oh, that was saffy.
Yeah.
That was my problem with rabbits. And
you know what my problem with rabbits was all the record keeping.
Well,
me and you, neither one are good record keepers.
No, so we had this huge chalkboard.
And it didn't work. it did, but it didn't. We were terrible record keepers.
I never wrote on it, not one time, so my record keeper wasn't there.
We're just awful record keepers, both of us.
But in order to raise rabbits successfully, you had to keep good records.
And you had to have a lot of rabbits. If, the restaurant was wanting like 40 or 50 a month.
Yeah. And
that's a lot of rabbits.
Besides a lot of rabbits, you had to have a lot of cages. And boy, finding cages in Alabama was not fun. We drove all over the central part of Alabama to get the cages. And it was so much involved. And then to realize that I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. I just kind of backed myself out of it because I didn't want to do it. I would help in any way I could, but in the back of my mind, I didn't want to be there.
And so rabbits didn't last that long.
No, they didn't last that long.
We didn't have them that long.
I never ate one, to be honest with you. I never ate a processed rabbit. And I never have. And it's just something that I don't care for. I mean, I don't know how the meat tastes. I'm sure it's probably
It's good.
delectable. But it's just something I didn't care for.
Right.
And everybody's different, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
That's right. Exactly.
So don't judge me for not wanting to process rabbits, please, because I can kill a chicken real quick.
We can do chickens really quick. So yours was rabbits. Mine was the meat ducks.
And there again, I ask you, don't judge me.
That's right.
Because I don't want to kill a rabbit. Because, it's just everybody's different.
Everybody's different. That's right. Everybody's different.
What makes the world go round.
That's right. I guess I don't know.
I don't like guineas.
We don't like guineas. That was the other animal. We just had a bad time with him. We talked about that in another podcast. That our experience with guineas is that they beat up our roosters, and then they roosted on the house and then on your mom's black car.
Yeah, that was not a good thing. So it didn't take but one shot for us to realize we didn't like guineas. But we never processed any or ate any. No,
none of that.
So anyway, back to the chickens. We ended up selling our processing equipment.
That's right, selling all of it.
There was a need out there when the virus hit, and processing companies that made this processing equipment weren't able to get it out quick enough.
That's right.
And I felt like if there's somebody else out there that wants to fill that void and offer people a good quality meat, then we'll sell it. We'll pass it on to somebody else. And that's what we did. Somebody drove
Illinois.
Yes, a long way to come down here to get all of our processing equipment.
Sure did.
But I don't miss it. I will say that. I don't miss it.
No, I don't miss it either. I really don't.
I don't miss it. It was a good experience. It's something that I'll never forget how to do. I had a bile duct bust in my eye one time.
That's probably the worst thing. I've cut my finger a couple of times pretty good.
Yeah, we've all had our issues, and that'll be a podcast in itself.
Yeah, we could get in deep into how we did meat chickens, because it was a learning process for us, and the way we did it was different than the norm, outside the box.
Yeah, and I felt like I could answer any question that you may have about how we did things. I'll never forget it. It's always it's a skill. It's definitely a skill. It's a learned skill. We didn't know how to do it to begin with. Nobody showed us. No. We watched a couple of YouTube videos, and boy, then we got on it.
We did get on it. We'll have to. Well, that may be our next one, is our start to finish of meat birds, because it was an adventurous one. It
was. And Marycarl loved to help.
She did love to help. She really did. She did. She did.
Even though it took up our weekend, she looked forward to it.
She did.
You would think that somebody that's so in love with birds would have a hard time doing that, but she knew the true meaning of it and knows where her food comes from.
That's right.
I think that's very important.
That's right. I agree. 100%.
So you know what's going to happen this time next week?
What?
It's going to be 2021.
That's right.
I'm kind of glad.
It is. I'm kind of glad too. This 2020 has been crazy.
Oh, well,
it's been really crazy.
We've had a good year and we've had a bad year. I mean, nobody can say it's been perfect, because it hasn't. But a lot of y'all have had a lot of problems and trials and tribulations, and I hope 2021 will be better.
I hope so too. I really do. I hope it's this thing's on its last leg, and come the springtime, things will start opening back up and get back. I think things will be back to normal, come at least early summer. That's just my guess. I'm probably wrong, but that's just what I think.
I don't know, but
or at least in the summertime. I just put it like that. Start to get halfway normal.
Well, I hope it starts to get better in February. So I'm an optimist here, and I'm looking out for everybody's best interest.
There you go.
But y'all hang out with us again next week.
Hang out with us again. I would like to give a shout out to Wes, my good friend Wes over there at Naked Hog. He's part of our family now, pretty much. And
Wes and his family, not just
Wes.
That's
right, Wes and all his family. He helps me out behind the scenes on everything that's Cog Hill, and I really do appreciate him. They're getting their YouTube channel started, hardcore gardeners. And if you want to check those guys out, please do. The Naked Hog. I'll put a link in the show notes or in this video.
They all know their stuff. They have 4 children, and they're all just jam up.
They really are.
They got it going on. And Angie, their Wes's wife, as well. So
they great people, and like I said, been helping us out.
Y'all check them out and try to help Wes and his family grow. And
tell them Cog Hill sent you.
That's right. All right.
Anything else? That's it?
Well, I got a lot to say, but we don't have a lot of time.
No, my
so.
battery light's flashing on my camera. For some reason, I got
keep
a battery.
Seeing you look at it, and I'm like, I need to shut up.
This battery is supposed to have been charged, and we just put it in, and it's not. And this battery is supposed to be charged, and it's not. And this one's flashing red. So
he keeps looking at it, so I'm like, ah. But I'm gonna have a lot to say about this chicken processing business.
Yes, I can't wait to get into it
because, well, I can clean a chicken.
It was 5 years worth of trial and error, and till we got to where I think we had perfected it pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I was to the point where I didn't know if there was anything else I could do to make things go smoother, and that's a good feeling.
Yeah, we were very efficient in raising our meat chickens and did it free range.
We did it free range. So
yep, we'll
every
get into
now and
that.
then we'd have a hawk come.
Every now and then,
and get them, but for the most part, our dogs took care of predators
and electric fence.
Yep. And we know what we're doing when it comes to chicken.
We know what we're doing,
and we're a real farm.
Speaking of that, real quick, we are a real farm. Speaking of that, real quick, I do want to get the whole light thing and the chickens laying eggs. We have stirred up a hornet's nest on this. If my battery don't go dead, I'm gonna get into this real quick. So we said that chickens need light to lay eggs, which is absolutely correct. And then I said last week that I didn't think artificial light may replace the sunlight, and I wasn't for sure that it would extend the laying cycle of a chicken and cause them lay eggs. And I've gotten emails and messages both sides. I have people saying that is correct, that it will not extend their laying cycle. I've had people tell me that is incorrect, that will extend their laying cycle. So I really don't know the answer to that. That'd be something that you guys want to try. You perfect.
Well, I think here's the bottom line, and I'm speaking for you, and I hope I'm correct when I say this. We like to do things the natural way.
Yes.
And not saying that the light won't work. It may work. I mean, Jason probably shouldn't have said that light won't work, but that's not what he meant.
I don't think I said that it wouldn't. I just said I didn't think it would, but I didn't know.
Well,
and I still don't know.
I think the bottom line is we don't use natural light.
We don't use the artificial light.
Yeah, we use natural light. We want things to be done as natural as possible.
Right.
And we feel like if there's a reason for the days being shorter, and therefore chickens should see that too. That doesn't mean that you can't add.
That's right. If you want to do the light thing and extend, and this is how you make a living, then so be it.
That's right, because everybody has a choice, and that's what makes this life so great.
And then that's one thing that we like to stress on our channel a lot is we don't judge anybody.
Heck no.
And there's no one way to do something.
No.
There's a million ways to do things.
I don't like very one-sided.
Very one-sided or inside of a box.
No,
I don't like
I'm not that way. I'm
in.
open to hear any suggestions or any options that anybody has, because there is no one way to do everything. Exactly. If there was, then we would be living in a tight.
The world would be boring.
So if you want to use artificial light, you go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. And if your chickens lay more eggs, woohoo! I love it.
Yeah.
We had eggs for dinner last night, and a couple more would have been a lot better, but we just not going to add artificial light, but y'all go ahead.
We're not going to add artificial light. But I did want to say that did stir up a hornet's nest.
Well,
I
think that's the bottom line.
I say a hornet's nest. I'm glad it opened up the conversation.
Sure. I mean, you want people to listen and to be opinionated. That is fine. You can be opinionated, but your way is not the only way.
Right.
And that's where I feel like you came in there. I mean,
I guess so.
So we opened it up and let you know if you want that light, then turn that switch on.
Turn the light on.
Turn it on.
Guys, we'll catch y'all on the next episode. Y'all be good.
2021.
Happy New Year.
That's right.
Hey guys, if you're new to us and have never checked out our main channel, our vlogging channel, our day-to-day life here on the farm, check that out right over here. It's lots of fun. We got a pet emu and a bossy pig. I think you'll like it.